Well, I'm watching that clock. Still looks like people are shopping about.
From here all the way up to Charlottesville, D.C.
I'm calibra.
And they're like, oh, we'll never, it takes years to replenish the ground. And then it started raining.
Come on. Yep.
Good afternoon. This program is about alliances between librarians and IT staff. Presenting today, we have Patti Monk and Tim Kendall from Oklahoma City University School of Law, and Linda Tashbook and Jamie Butler from the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. I'm Linda Tashbook. I'm Electronic Services Librarian at Pitt, and because I'm the Electronic Services Librarian, faculty tend to come to me for all things electronic. And over time, this has led me to realize that there's a flip side to information technology, IT-TI, technology information, and that librarians, because we're the experts at organizing and disseminating information, and because we're well situated to serve as middlemen between the IT staff and the faculty, ought to be the ones who manage that flip side, the technology information. So I set about compiling a list of good ideas for ways to convey the information. And that list is available. It's printed in rainbow colors. I've got it on the back table. There are a few at the front table here if you happen to want it. And I began to compile data about the software and hardware in our law school and stumbled onto the fact that our IT manager, Jamie Butler, was also working on technology information projects at the same time. And so what we're going to do today for the first half hour of this program is that Jamie and I are going to show you our concerted efforts to manage technology information. And so Jamie is going to talk first.
As Linda said, we spent a lot of time thinking about how we could increase the support for faculty and pretty much get information to them in an organized manner and alleviate some of the common questions that they usually have for us. There we go. So why would we work together? I mean, librarians and technology kind of go together, but we don't usually have such a really tight-knit relationship. A lot of times we do the same things or just kind of work independently. But one of the best reasons we work is we're going to give a better support for the faculty. So when people have problems, they know where to go. There's a centralized location for all the information that we have, and I create a lot of the technology side of things, but I usually don't have a lot of time to spend giving the information and teaching people how to use things. Now, many projects go on during the course of a semester, and oftentimes teaching classes on how to use the new technologies that change every day is just kind of not a concern. So by working together with Linda and I, we can create a centralized location where the faculty can get this information. Then again, I don't have to be teaching classes every day. With having a centralized location for this information, the 3 people that work in my department, me, myself, and 2 others, we don't have to worry about teaching. Maybe we can handle problems, create new technologies, but actually teaching people how to use them and fielding common questions becomes a thing of the past. Librarians are also always accessible. Linda sits in the library at the reference desk a lot of the time, and so there's a central location for her. IT people, as many people know, are kind of elusive. We like to hide. I like to sit in my little cave and try not to be bothered by people, get my work done. Linda's out there in the open. Faculty know where she is. Staff know where she is. So she can be contacted pretty much any time. I'm going to show you what we've done. We've worked on a couple of things to increase this and make it kind of nice. There's 3 things we've done so far. One is a faculty handbook. I actually printed a copy of it, brought it with. If anyone else wants a copy, it's fairly extensive. There's about 30 or 40 pages here. But I'd be happy to send you a copy of it by email, or I can send you a copy in the mail if you want. The faculty handbook covers about 6 different topics. Commonly asked questions, how to use email, how to log into the system. And I'll go over those in a second. The next thing is the intranet. We've created an intranet that's used on Pitt's campus. So if a faculty or staff member wants to log in, they have to be either connected to, we can go back here. And I can't go back. There we go. They can log in if they're connected to our network on campus. They can either log in using a VPN software, if they're at home on a modem or a DSL connection, or they can log in from their desk. Intranet requires password protection and is used over SSL tunnel. The benefits of the intranet are not only can we put the information for how to use lots of things, but we also put things on there like mailing lists for students so the faculty can contact their class. We've got a student directory on there. So this is sort of a centralized location for faculty to use as a tool, and so it made sense to put a lot of this information for them on there as well. We also have an online help desk option. The address is helpdesk.law.pitt.edu. It's fairly intuitive. And so faculty can log on, use this website to submit problems. There's also a knowledge base on there that they can view problems that have occurred before. So maybe that can alleviate asking questions and waiting for a response. They can see problems that have already happened. The faculty handbook has these topics on it. It explains how to use the technology in the classrooms. We have smart boards. We have star boards. We've got projectors in most of the classrooms. A lot of the classrooms have wired Ethernet ports. Faculty members most likely don't know how to use a lot of this technology. So there's a standard handout that we're going to put together, and they can go through all of these things and at least know what's available, how to use it a little bit, and then contact us if they need further instruction. The intranet also has information about how to connect to it, what's on the intranet, how to see it if you're not on campus, if you want to use VPN software. There's the online help desk, instructions for how to use it, how to log in, how to register, how to submit a problem, and how to search the knowledge base. There's information on how to use email. We have 2 different accounts at Pitt. There's the law school accounts, and then there's the University of Pitt accounts. The email accounts are different depending on where you're at. So it explains the differences between the 2, and then how to set up your email, how to log into it from off-site and on-site, and how to look at it through the web interface, which is Outlook Web Access. There's also information on how to connect to the network from Pitt. We have a modem pool that's available, so people can dial into Pitt using the modem pool. There's information on how to set up instructions for Windows 98, 2000 XP. And we also have training sessions available. There's a website that they can go to look at when training sessions are available and how to request a training session if they want a one-on-one training or if they just want to go to a classroom session. This is the login page for the intranet. All the menus are once you log in, you get a list of things you can do at the top in the right-hand corner, if you see right here. So there's a student directory, the mailing lists, dean's reports, faculty grant information, student organization report, and then the faculty technology information. And that's where all this information that we're presenting today would be for the faculty to look at. And this is what our help desk looks like. You can log into it, which I did. So I'm logged in. And when you log in, you get a couple of options. You can either submit a new problem, you can view problems that you currently have, or you can look at the knowledge base. Submitting a new problem is as easy as entering in your what the problem is, a little bit of a subject line, and then explaining the problem in detail. When the email this sends an email to me or to whomever in our department that it would be assigned to, depending on the category, and then they get a tracking number. So a faculty member can see and track the progress of their problem, and then they get constant updates as we update their problem. That's all I have. Now Lynn's going to talk to you about the actual web pages that she put together for the intranet.
What I'm going to do is just walk through what's on the intranet. Okay. Didn't sound like it was mic'd. I'm so used to talking loud, I just yell out, even if there's a microphone. So this is what the intranet page looks like. And we're going to go through and show you how our intranet faculty technology site works. And for now, I've got it also available on the web. And if you pick up the rainbow printed handout, the web address for this is at the bottom, should you have any desire to look at it after the presentation today. First, I have frequently asked questions. Now, why would I have frequently asked questions when Jamie just showed you the knowledge base? Because this is temporary. Eventually, that link is just going to be straight into the service where you can email a question or check the knowledge base to see the frequently asked questions like these. For now, I've posted some of the questions that come up most commonly, at least that certainly come to me in the library, because they are trying to find somebody who can tell them, well, I keep getting this Adobe Acrobat Reader message that says, do you want to upgrade now? Or, you know, how do I do my office work from home? The screen won't unlock, keeps popping up with some message. You know, just the standard things that happen to people, and they're needing an answer. Jamie wrote the answers, so. The next category is off-campus access. And within off-campus access, these are the main categories. People need to be able to access the library subscriptions. And for now, this is faculty that we're talking about. There are other resources coming soon for students. For now, our concern was on the intranet. We need to make everything clear for faculty. And so library subscriptions, if faculty are working from home, but even more of a problem is when our faculty go out visiting to another school, or they're just on sabbatical doing research, and they need to be able to access the library subscriptions. And often they're already away when they try to access a subscription and realize that they can't, and it's because we have IP range access. So this is the basic simple instructions. And if it's a situation that we don't already have a password for, which is quite common, as you all know, then well, what I always do is contact the vendor and ask if this professor can have a trial subscription for the duration of time that they're out of town, and they've been accommodating about that. But if I do have a password for something, they just click here, they email me, I give them the password. If they're away from campus, that's when suddenly they don't know their Lexis and Westlaw IDs, because usually those are preset on their office computer. So this is where they can have a quick email link to the person who manages the list of Lexis and Westlaw passwords. If they want to dial up to Pitt, there are excellent help sheets available on the university's website, you know, with nice screen captures. Couldn't be easier. Here's the quick link, one-stop shopping. They don't have to figure out where it is on the university server. They can get it all from our faculty technology page. Loaner laptops. Often when faculty are going to be away presenting somewhere, they want to be able to bring their whole PowerPoint or whatever their presentation is on a laptop, and so our campus has loaner laptops. Very convenient, just click on the link. And then this is, once again, instructions for how to access email remotely. This is the URL that they have to use because it's so different from what they would use if they were back at the office. Classroom equipment. Jamie already mentioned that we have a lot of equipment available in our classrooms. And this is, as you can see, like all of our intranet pages, very minimal information. Just the clearest, simplest information appears right here on the front screen of the intranet. If they want more, they click on hyperlinks to go deeper. So all of these rooms are the largest classrooms. So if you click on the link, there's a picture. That's what the classroom looks like. If you wanted a view from the back of the standing at the chalkboard, looking toward the back of the class, you can click there. There's a link to show. Oops, I'm sorry. That's the main page about classroom equipment. Once you're in one of these pages about the classroom, you can also look at the equipment rack that's in there. If they need to know more about that, this is where, if they click on equipment rack, they can get through to that main technology page that'll link them to, like Pioneer or whoever manufactured the equipment and get all the specs and manuals and things. We have a picture of the control panel because the handbook that Jamie has the basic instructions like when you want to use projection computing, you click the on button, and then you click on whichever, if it's not projection computing, maybe you want to use the DVD projection or something, then you click on this so they can look at the picture and see, because it's nerve-wracking the first time to go into a classroom with a group of students and not know what button do I push and how come it isn't lighting up. And then the end of the instructions say, push the off button twice. That's the trick. It's such a simple little thing, but if you don't know it and you feel like a dope, it's a terrible moment. So we try to prevent people from feeling like dopes. That's our business. Next category is data security. And our university has this enormous cache of information on the website about data security. And I think that it is not very likely that faculty really want to go through all of that. So again, very simple, clear page about data security. There's a tutorial that the university does. I'm not going to go ahead and click on that link because there's a log through that you have to do. But there's that interactive method of finding out about the way security is handled on campus. I'm sure we all have multiple security issues, like if you're accepting credit card payment for admissions, then some of your data is secured that way, but the library stuff is secured a different way. And obviously you're not going to publicize the way you do your security, because then everybody knows the way you aren't doing security too. But here's some simple stuff, because the way that most faculty tend to need information about data security is that they've gotten a weird email and they want to know if it's something to be suspicious of. And so this is what links them straight through, because so often I send them back a note and say, no, that's another one of those urban legends. So this is, my simple definition of what a virus is and what a hoax is. I link through to viruses and hoax pages. I just randomly picked the one that I like the best. We link to the pathetic stories page. And then this is really a fun site. There are great quotations about data and security. I like the haiku about computer security. And really, while it seems like a silly joke, these haiku poems give the basic instructions that people need to follow. You left your computer on and your door open and the web server exposed. It's not exactly it, but it's something like that. Short, sweet poems. And finally, not finally, second to last, how to do web pages for faculty. This is not blow-by-blow instructions on making a web page, because no faculty member is going to scroll through all those screens. So my intranet site just says, first of all, if you want to just email me, I'll come to your office and help you. But that leaves us with the limitations of my abilities. If you want something fancy, try Twen. And then I identify some of the special features, because they may have heard about it at the AALS conference or something. Isn't there a way that you can do anonymous grading? Yes, there is, using Twen. And isn't there a way that I can host an online bulletin board session? Yes, there is. You can do that in Twen or else in the Lexis web courses. And so I link them to not just the main site for both of those course development pages, but also the sub-information that will help. The Lexis software is also known as Blackboard software, and our university has licensed Blackboard software and provides special trainings for any faculty on campus to access the Blackboard software, to learn how to maximize use on it. And so we provide the separate link to the university's Blackboard information, because some people are just timid enough that they would rather be in a classroom setting, going slowly and in an organized way through a workshop in which they can develop their page, rather than having me come to their office for an hour or having to do too much independent research. And that's certainly easy to understand that they would want a more classroom type approach, a workshop kind of approach. And so we show them the link to the schedule where they can find out when the next workshops are going to be. Finally, campus technology. University of Pittsburgh is a very big university, and so not everything needs to be available just in the law school. We have a tremendous amount of resources for technology in the law school, but there's even better stuff through the main campus. Like we have they have digital cameras. They have even more laptops. They have like I think 48 laptops or some enormous quantity of computers available for people to take away. Video players. They have video teleconferencing abilities and videotaping service that they provide. Assistance in developing web pages for courses. Like if you want to learn how to do, I don't know, some kind of JavaScript that you've been wanting to implement and you're not getting it through the tutorial because you found a good online tutorial but it's not working, then you can go to their lab and they'll do individualized training on any techniques you want to learn yourself to make a web page. We keep on this site also just a list of all the campus computer labs. That's significant on our campus because in the law school we charge for printing at every printer. But by virtue of being a University of Pittsburgh student, one is entitled to 1,400 free pages of printing in campus labs. We have our own server. Our labs are not a part of the campus lab system. So if faculty encounter a student who's upset about having to print a lot off of, say, the course web page or something because they have to pay, then the faculty member can say, well, let me just give you the URL, and you can look at this list of all of the campus labs and go to another lab, and you've got 1,400 free pages where you can print. But there are other reasons, too. Faculty might need to know about the campus labs. That's where they can get the list of them. And then our university also subscribes to to a type of software that you can use to see if students are plagiarizing. And, like, it's so easy to spot check and see if they're stealing head notes that we don't even need this software, but in the law school very much. But if our law faculty want to use it, one-stop shopping, it's all right here on the intranet page. So that's the way we're managing technology information, the other half of IT. I'm going to turn it over now to Patti and Tim. And then what we all agreed is that at the end of the whole time, if anybody has questions for any one of the four of us, just ask then.
Do you want to bring it up because you know where I put it? No?
Let's see here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Come on. I guess I don't need to aim at the screen. Oh. Okay, and I think
The bottom one here.
that does, yeah. Is it
Okay.
that one or that one?
Okay.
Give it a try. Find out.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead. Were you doing the first or was it?
Just gonna do it. I'm Patti Monk. I'm the Associate Director at the Law School Library. I am. We're in academia. Why not, milk it for all it's worth? But The library and the faculty and computer services are in the Gold Star building, and it was built in 1953, which is getting older now. And there wasn't any internet then. There weren't any computers. And we have all those windows, so you really don't need a lot of electricity either, which is good because sometimes if you would plug too many things in, the switch would go. But then we remodeled it in 1995. And just before we remodeled and got a real computer lab, with 22 stations and an office for the computer person and a place to put the server, we hired, being very conservative, we hired a half-time person who could do hardware and just some software. And we retired Army. And he didn't want to work, a full schedule. So it's not really a nuclear bomb shelter, but it is a tornado shelter. And in May, we went downstairs and pulled out the televisions. And yes, pulled out the televisions, and then we watched where the tornado was going. And it didn't hit campus anyway, but it hit Tim's neighborhood, but not his house. So that was good. And some of you might wonder, some of you young people might wonder, how did the library start to do technology? And we started to do it because we were getting CALI lessons, and we were doing Westlaw and Lexis and getting CD-ROMs and things in the back of our books, discs, and all types of things. And then we had to make them work. We had to make them run. And we had to explain them to the professors. So we did that. With the renovation, we got a new, bigger lab, and our part-time person and the director and I and our campus computer people all met, and we ordered the equipment, and we just did whatever campus technology told us to do. And I'm sure they look back on those good old days with a smile. But anyway, we did that, and they came and unpacked the boxes with our part-time person and put the server in the office. And then school was beginning next week, and I said, well, can't you deploy Lexis and Westlaw from the server onto all the stations? And he looked at me, and he said, Then he went in the computer room, and he looked at the computer, the server, and then he said, I don't know how to do that. But what he didn't tell me is he also put a password on the server and didn't tell me what that was. So there we were. We hired a law student who was in his second year and had been a computer salesman. And they had a computer named Ernie on the network, which belonged to Campus IT. And they named our server in the law lab Big Bird. Oh, he was so insulted. So the first thing he did was reformat the server and put on his own password. And we had gone with NT when the rest of the campus was going with 98. So we said, well, so we had our own domain then. And then we had another server that we got through the Mid-American Association of Law Libraries. And it was supposed to be, could be used as a web server. So we said, oh, well, we got this grant, we have to use it for just that, Well, they didn't buy that, unfortunately. But we did put the faculty on that. And then I wrote a letter or an email or something to campus, and I said, we need 2 stationary IPs for the 2 servers, and we want our web server to be www.law.okcu.edu. And oh my God, they were just furious. I mean, surely they must have noted that Big Bird was not there anymore, but anyway, they were not happy with us. And our law student wasn't happy with us either. He told me and the associate dean, who was soon to become the acting dean, that we ought to tell the university that unless they did this, we would resign. Well, I don't think so. If he wanted to resign his work-study job, we were fine with that. So we did all the web design, and we did the lab, and we probably did almost everything. And we had this half person. That wasn't going to work. So Judy said, well, why don't we make one of our reference librarians for getting this new position an electronic services librarian? So that's what we did. Brent was our second electronic services librarian. Then some kind of, and this was great while the associate dean was there and the acting dean, the same person, because we'd have computer meetings every week. And so he would tell the law school, okay, well, you kick in this amount of money. And our director, Judy, would kick in something, and then we would go with it. Well, he went to another law school to become dean, and then we had some unfortunate circumstances. Our electronic services librarian resigned in August, and then they put a budget freeze on, so we couldn't replace him for almost a year. And then the December after that August, the computer services, the real tech person, she resigned and went to work for a hospital that paid her a lot more money and was 5 minutes from our house. I mean, we just really could not compete with all of it. So we were in a bad shape. I mean, we had to kind of go back to campus technology, and ask them for help too, because we just couldn't handle it. So then, I guess this is about where you come in, Tim?
I think I came in right around there.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough to work that. Am I on? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. They did, I actually started Halloween. I don't know if there's any significance to that. 2001, that was my first day on the job. No one had, basically the position had been empty for about the better part of a year, close to a year. They didn't have an electronic services librarian or computer services coordinator. They had changed deans in the interim, and the dean that was there was really pro-technology, and then the other dean was like, we need to spend money on other stuff, not these computers, it's a fad, and, type thing. So, but that was the situation. I mean, the library did everything. I mean, it started with, we'll do these CD-ROMs because now this, we're not getting the printed materials, now it's on CD-ROM, and some of these books have floppies, and, we need a lab for the students, so we'll put computers in this room, and it just kept growing. I mean, as it has at every school here, and, to a point where, now the librarians are, they're trying to run the library and answer library questions, and then they've got people say, well, my computer's broken, and, I've got this floppy, but it won't read, and, so they just, they got to the point they can't do everything, and so, and that's what there was. They're too busy helping people with books, so, people are looking things up and needing citations and stuff like that. And so we have faculty and staff members that are now irate that, my computer is not working the way I think it should work. And there's a good reason that's why it's not a computer support center. It's the law library. So they recognize that we need a computer support center. We also need full-time librarians that aren't out with a screwdriver taking computers apart or taking computers out of the box and setting them up and things like that. So we decided we'll get an autonomous department. And that's where I came in. I'd interviewed. That's the best picture they took, too, of me. We took several. I had this really stern look like I was getting ready to jump over the desk or something. I had my own business. I'd done a lot of consulting for the university, the main campus, not so much the law school. And I knew the workings there. The university had a new president that had only been on job a couple of years. Dean Hellman, how long had he been there? He was relatively new.
He was.
And they looked like they wanted to make some cool changes. I'd done a lot of growth planning, helping law firms and stuff get, from one computer to a network and things like that. So I figured out pretty quick that the librarians know 10 times more than I'm ever going to know, probably 100 times more than I'm ever going to know about how the library works and the cataloging system and where all that stuff is, but they're just not computer techs. Same thing, that's that's pretty much me in the library. Wow, there's a lot of books in here. That's, you know, and they look organized and stuff. I don't know, but one of the first things I noticed that libraries, at least my librarians, they're not very numerically oriented. They're very English word oriented. So we had computer labs, and we had the J.R. Humsey Memorial Training Lab and things like that. And I don't know where that is. So I did. We have computer labs 1, 2, and 3. You know, it's still the J.R. Humsey whatever, and it's got a nice plaque and everything on it. But I just call it Lab 2. So, which is a lot easier because now I can say, yeah, she's in Lab 2. See, it's better communication. So, yeah, this is our first hurdle. We have an autonomous department, law technology services. We've got our ideas of how the computers ought to be set up and stuff like that. Fortunately, for our law school, I'm bilingual. I speak techie and I speak English. So I get to go to these meetings and translate, and the computer guys, you know, are like, well, you know, we don't need all this Windows stuff, and we can just run it all on Linux, and, you know, and no, we're going to use Microsoft Office and, you know, stuff like that. So, right, neither one of these approaches is good, so we compromise. I'm housed in the law library. The law library for the past 17 years has been running the show for IT, and now they're not, but I'm in their building. And the director of the building I don't actually work for, but I work in her building. So, you know, I can't just say, tough crap, this is how it is, and we're going to do this and that, you know, because it's our building, and if she doesn't really like it, then that's a problem. So.
And I picked his office, although I probably shouldn't admit that.
My office is the bomb shelter. I'm on the end of faculty row, about 80%, 85% of our faculty. We've got them on. Yeah, and they like that. But there's no windows in my office. 3 of the walls are 12 to 18-inch poured concrete walls, and it's typically not a factor. I've got a little painting that we did in a window. I'm painting the glass and of the outside, and I just hung that up to give me a fake view of the outside. But in Oklahoma, it's not cold for a long time, but once it finally gets cold, it stays cold. And it'll get down to like 5 degrees or negative 15 degrees and just stay there for like 3 weeks. And it takes about 3 or 4 days for that cold to seep up. And then I'm in an ice cube because those poured concrete walls go all the way down, you know, and it's real fun. So, and because of the electricity problem we have since the building was, that's not a joke. I mean, back when they built that, I mean, you didn't have an electricity bill. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember this. You had the light bill. That was because there wasn't really anything else electrical to plug in. I mean, you know, other than lights. So, if you plug in very much, it's still a problem. We blow breakers all the time, and I try to enforce that. The space heaters are the worst because they take up a lot of amps and they blow stuff and they're a fire hazard. But, you know, when it's cold, it's cold. We've kind of a unique approach to things. We actually talk to people. I know it's kind of rare. I don't know what your IT departments are like, if you have your own law IT or if you're stuck with the campus IT. I might have should have phrased it like that. We have kind of an adversarial relationship with the main campus when it comes to the computing technologies. They're very staunch and have their ideas of exactly how it ought to be, and anything that conflicts with that at all is just, you know, like heresy, and they get really ticked off fast. So we try not to. We probably do kind of hide out in our caves more than we should, but we try to get out and talk to people and actually see what they want to do. Not knowing any better, when I took the job, I just asked the students and what's your ideal lab? How would you like this set up? You know, and they got most of it within reason. Every student we have wants completely unlimited printing, and, you know, they think nothing of dumping a 400-page document every single time they have class, and then they'll just throw it out and reprint it. So we don't let them do that, but, you know, we try to accommodate them where we can, where it's realistic. Yeah, I found that most of the answers are already there. You know, it's just a matter of talking to the people and seeing what people want to do, and, you know, can we afford it, and is anybody really going to be bent out of shape if we move this computer from here to over here, you know, things like that. I primarily talk with first year and third year. I don't want to the second year law students, I mean, the 2Ls aren't really latchkey, but they're, the first years are just coming in, obviously, and they've got real firm ideas of, this is how things were where I just was, or, or how I think it ought to be. And then the third years are like, things have stunk and I haven't liked the following in my stay here. So, the staff, I don't know how many departments we have. We've got 2 buildings. We've got the library, and then we've got the Sarkey Center, which is where all our administration stays and the classrooms are at. And they don't. Out of the departments we have, they've all got different goals, and they all want different computers, and they all want to spend their time doing different things. So it's fun. The faculty, we try to go ahead and get with you were talking about print limits, and they can go on main campus. We're all in the same domain. We're Oklahoma City University. We're all in the OCU domain, but we have
switched over.
Yeah, we
we're
switched
back.
over. We were on our own domain, but I still have mixed feelings about it. I'm kind of still on the fence, but we do have our own servers, and we allocate 250 sheets per week per student, and we let them print that, and we use server print software that monitors that. And it sends a little pop-up message every time you print. It says, hey, your name, you now have 119 pages left, or now you have 114. It tells you, trying to avoid, because people say, well, I just didn't know. I just breezed right through them, so now we just hit you in the face and say, now you're down to this much paper and stuff. But we've had, faculty will sign, one of our faculty was 480-something pages. So I've got, now I've got 58 students or 85 students in there saying, but I've got to print all this, So we have to work with them and say, do you need all 400 pages the first week? You're not going to cover 400 pages in the first week of class, so just print 100 of it. And then next week print 100 more, because, your class is a semester long. One thing that we did, one guy had it was 600 pages. We printed it on a big high-speed machine, which the staff has and the students don't have access to. Didn't charge them anything, didn't come off their print limits. We just went ahead, we duplexed it, and we bound it, put it in binders, and stuck it at the cert desk. And then every time a student came up and said, oh, I need my print limit up to 1,000,000 pages because I've got, we'd say, oh, yeah, go to the cert desk, and they'll just hand you a little 3-ring binder, and it's already in there, save them the trouble. So we try to work with people and accommodate and stuff like that. You guys, everybody have public access internet terminals in the library? Yeah, you got them secure? Kind of secure? You ever come by and the screensaver says this school sucks or anything like that? Or we've had that. I've actually that's a quote. I've had that. I had for some reason people love Jack Black and they like to right click and say make desktop wallpaper. And I don't know. I find the guy kind of offensive, but I guess it's better than nudie pictures or something. But we get that a lot. And I had the dean came on an impromptu tour, and 2 of my internet search terminals said this place sucks. A marquee screensaver. He was real impressed too. At least they know how to use computers, So we kind of went backwards to go forwards. We tried several things with XP. We've got just a handful of students, and that's more fun than studying. It's more fun than drinking beer with their buddies. They just like to hack on the terminal. They want to change that screensaver, so we went to Windows 98. It's a company that makes this WinU 5.5, and you can put this thing in killer Nazi security-like mode, and it just will not. You can't do anything. You can open Internet Explorer several times, and that's it. You can't hit the start button. You can't. If you throw something in the garbage, it takes it back out of the garbage. If you change this, screen thing, it says, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that. And we've had good luck with it. We've been running it. We just did that about 3 months ago or so. So, and I know it's working because I've had 3 students bitterly complain about how terrible these new things are, and you can't do anything on them. You can do what we want you to. Search the web. That's it. Let's see. This is the lab. I wish I got the same angle view. We only have 1 digital camera. We don't have a bunch of them. And the gal who guards the digital camera is really intense about it. And so I borrowed it, and my intent was nobody uses it. I don't think most people know we have one. And I thought I'd borrow it for a week and I would take these pictures and stuff. We had the thing about 2 hours and she's on the phone. Are you done yet? Are you done? You need to bring this back. And at about 4 hours, she's in my building looking for me, wanting the camera back. So, yeah, it's like, okay, here. So we didn't get all the pictures we wanted, but this is our primary lab. And this is how it used to look. We had this nice table full of materials and stuff, and we had printers over here, and we had some printers over here, and we had this big wall that people could hide behind. This, I moved this wall out several feet, made this office bigger, and I put a big window right here. So you can't hide if you're in the office. The students can see you. Law students aren't very shy, and they'll say, oh, I have a problem, you know. And also, though, we noticed that a lot of them don't. They won't come walk to 10 feet and say, gee, I'm having a problem and this won't print right or whatever. I don't know why that is, but now that we've got this window in here, we'll be in there and you look out and you'll see the laws just, you know, they're mad and they're gyrating with their hands and, you know, so you come out, you go, oh, gee, is there a problem? Oh, no, not really. Well, okay, well, what is it that you're trying to do there? And then that generally, they're like, well, I'm trying, but it won't work, and then we can solve their problem for them.
And it keeps them from dismantling the West printer when it's not working.
They're very quick. You guys don't have that problem, do you? Where they take the printers apart because it says like low toner, so they just start taking things apart and opening the doors out. Yeah. I don't know why they think they're going to fix it. It's kind of a complicated machine, but we moved some walls around and did some other things there. That's what it looks like now. We went ahead, all the printers. That's Lexus. That's our lab printers. Westlaw is way down there. You can't see them too good. And we've got the bat phones for Westlaw and Lexus and everything there. So it was kind of a funky shape, the lab. I don't know what it was originally. It certainly wasn't built to be a computer lab.
The architect built it that way, and they really didn't want any input from us. And
it's kind of, the countertops are a little slender, so we went with flat panels, which I love. They're great. They're hideously expensive. And there was the side effect of going with these flat panels was now everybody wants one. So every staff member and faculty member I've got is making the case of why I need a flat panel display, you know. So these guys got them because there's just we wanted them to be able to put their books down, or a book down, in addition to the keyboard, and that just didn't happen with the old setup. And we used to have a big table across this way and all this wasted space, so we just lined it up and did that with it. And I don't know what
I worked with the campus network director to enable EZPROXY for off-campus access. In case they actually did want to use something besides Westlaw and Lexus, they can get to it from home now. One of the benefits of hiring Tim is that he was very good friends with the director of network computing, so that endeared us somewhat. We were beneficiaries.
We have kind of a dual relationship, though, now, because it's very adversarial. But then we might grab a beer after work, you know. So, but during the day, we kind of find. Now we have the same IP thing where it's you know, if you're on campus and you click and you're clicking one of these links,
right.
it realizes, or you know, these guys realize you're on campus and we have an agreement, we paid whatever, and it zaps you through. If you're off campus and you have Cox Internet or Yahoo or whatever, it says, oh, I don't like that IP. And so that's where we get the EZPROXY. So now when you click on the link, it...
And of course, depending what you have at home affects the speed. So if you have AOL, you know, and a slow modem, it's not going to be like it is on campus.
But you can at least,
you can do it.
Yeah, get through it. You want
Okay.
That's our wireless deal.
Yes. We had been pursuing this wireless network idea, and the head of the director of campus networking was willing to try it with the law school being the guinea pig. And then we changed deans, and his priorities changed. So this is sort of like Dewey winning the election. I mean, it never happens.
But we had this great newspaper headline about it, but nothing happened. We are wireless in the library, but the Sarkey Center is not the library. It's a guy, you can barely see the laptop there, but he's just wireless as he can be. We didn't get any press off that one. But, you know, we have a few little dead spots, and I guess I'm not a wireless purist. I'm willing to, there's probably, in our building, there's probably a good 80 to 100 square feet in individual little places that you just can't get wireless if you get behind the column and you know, turn this way. I don't care. You know, we've got 99.998 or something out of the square footage of the building is available, and, you know, so, but, it works pretty good. We went, I don't know, how many people did wireless? Anybody? You done wireless? Wow. Look at that. Wow. We thought we were so far ahead of everybody. Going.
Well, if we'd done it in 2000, we would have looked
If
better.
we'd done it in 2000. Well, you know, it's in print, so we can always
we'll
claim
look
we
better.
did it. Yeah, but we
We'll
did.
know
It took
10
us
years
3
from
more
now.
years to get that done. Voyager, Endeavor.
Oh, Voyager Endeavor. We went from being where it says unsupported, 2000.1. We leaped over the next release to 2001.2 on May 15th. And there were 2 clients that you could install. You could do the upgrade from NT, which the people in technical services were doing, or you could upgrade from everything else. Well, the upgrade from NT went fine down there. Up here.
We had all gone to XP Pro in the interim. So the tech services, there's four computers that had NT4 workstation, and this was I mean, all these projects, and there's a lot more that I just didn't list, but we've collaborated on everything. I mean, we actually worked together on these things. But this one was through necessity. But this was never on a project was I more excited to have librarians working with me than this project. And I would probably say that was, you know, the reverse was true, because we needed each other, because these guys are talking library stuff and text stuff, and I knew the text stuff, but I had no idea, you know. I was like, I don't know what you just said. The words were all English, but you know, and Patty, you know, so, and she's in there, and they're like, well, what you need to do is change this substring to this, and then retype the IP number, and Patty's going, damn, you know, on the thing, so.
Well, what they did was they documented the steps in the NT install of the client, but they didn't document, they left steps out is what they did. So it was only when we talked to the people that installed downstairs, and they said, oh, you have to take out this font. And then they also, we went with the new version on May 15th.
Oh, yeah.
You had to get a new password to download it again on the 16th.
Can you guys read? I don't know if you can read that from back there. We went on the 15th, and Voyager's like, yeah, we're good. It's ready. Let's do it, you know. Let the healing begin. We did it. It did. Every station we loaded it on, it was just crapped out. We didn't have, you know, any software. I mean, you know, we had no library software. So, okay, we'll just uninstall it, and we'll put the old stuff back on. No. Now the old stuff doesn't work either. So we've just got no library, and people are trying to do silly things like check out books and stuff and bring books back, and oh, no.
So Voyager decided they had made a mistake. So they reissued this, I think maybe
this
like
is,
at 4:30
this is May
on the 16th. So then we got to uninstall everything again and reinstall everything and take out that font, which they had never mentioned, and it worked again. So
anyway, it was real fun. Yeah, but it did. And I said, oh, yeah, XP Pro works great. No, it doesn't. Yeah,
well.
It worked on NT4, but but that was real fun. But that was my favorite part of the whole thing was, oh, yeah, we're ready. Here's the instructions. Go, go, go. And I'm like, look, we followed the instructions. This isn't right, and this isn't right. And I've never had this happen before. And so the next day, May 16th, page updated. Then they've got all the stuff, and half of this is what we told them, and the other half is stuff that they figured out. And, they just rechanged the whole thing. So there you go. This is the instructions, you know. So anyway, so that was a fun deal. And I think that's it.
We were glad we didn't do it in January, you know, between semesters.
No, because we were going to do it over the Christmas break. See, that's IT guys. We're like, hey, we've got almost 3 weeks. Let's just do it, you know. And the librarian said, why don't we wait until school's out and then if it kills everything, it won't be as bad. And
Because
good
too,
move. Yeah.
it wasn't like, okay, you just install this over all the things you've changed, you know, all the cosmetic things and all the scripts that are running with the vendors to put your orders into this file and stuff, and all the things that Jerry had written. They all had to be reinstalled, and the cosmetic changes had to be made line by line in the config file. So it really wasn't a two-way project. If you wanted to do anything else.
This is true.
So I guess, what?
Questions, anybody, for either
For
group?
all of us? Any of us?
Windows 2000?
They say it does. We went with Windows 98 because we knew that it was the easiest to manipulate with third-party software out of the Microsoft OSs. But yeah, it says that it works on Windows 2000. Does it? Okay. It's WinU. We're running version 5.5, and I won't run off after this. Anybody that wants it, I can get you if you'll give me a card or something, and right now I'll send you the info from the vendor and stuff.
Is there a significant difference between WinU and full control?
Have you looked at full control? The question is, a significant difference between full control and WinU? Yeah. I'd say they both do the same thing. One of my IT staff had experience with this, and he said, man, this is really good. It wasn't much money. I think it was like less than $50 a station to get it. We got a trial in. It worked great, and I quit looking. So, yes, sir.
People forget. How much success have you had in getting faculty to actually use your internet? How often does it jump the phone? Always calling you. What kind of things have you done to promote it with them to get them to use that instead of doing things the other way?
It's not available yet to them.
It's not.
We're gonna make the big intro near the end of the summer. It's available, you know, if I happen to be working with someone personally and I want to show it to them. But we want to try and incorporate Jamie's knowledge base and email. Well, he already does email help desk, but the very snazzy one that he showed today, we want to incorporate that into the intranet, and that's still in the testing phase. So we haven't approached that problem yet. But we're always going to serve people. We're never going to reach a point, I hope, where we say, just go to the intranet and see if you can find it. It'll be a gradual introduction, like, let me, I'll come to your office like I always have, and look where I'm going to get this information.
This won't give you, this isn't a ray of sunshine little thing, but we have the help desk software. We've got the web clients. If you send me email and you have the word help, even though you don't know it, in the subject line, it'll make a ticket on the system and start a ticket. We also have, besides just calling me, if you dial my old extension from when I started, it's a little voice menu thing. If you press 1, it rings every phone in Law Technology Services. We have done everything we can think of to make it easy to get a hold of us. Now, after telling you that, at least 8 out of 10 times, I'm only in my office, incidentally, maybe 90 minutes out of the day. I'm either in meetings, or I'm under a desk, or I'm trying to act like I'm a student to students that don't know who I am yet, and I'm wearing jeans or something, and well, that's when you find out the stuff you really want to know, by the way, on the computer end of it, because they won't complain around you if you've got the name tag and a suit, because they're afraid they'll flunk or something. But I'll come back to my office in the afternoon, and there's handwritten notes taped on my door with Scotch tape. And that's the method of communication most employed by the faculty, so. And we've done it. We've told them a million times. I mean, some of them use it, but probably 80% of them they could give a rip. They just. Yes, ma'am. I've got 2 full-time gentlemen that work for me. We run, on average, 6 student workers part-time. that we closely supervise, and then we have a part-time webmaster and a full-time audiovisual coordinator that we just started. Now, the webmaster is not, that's one of those dotted line things. She gets paid. She works actually for external relations, I guess, because the web is external. Anyway, it made sense to somebody. And then the AV coordinator works for the librarian. So, but we work together. Yes, sir. So, okay.
Good software or security software and also hardware for locking down a lab or public terminals. The hardware version of it is Centurion Guard. Software version is Drive Shield. We've used it at MSU, Detroit College of Law, for about 3 years now. I used it at previous institutions. Works perfectly. So I recommend that to anybody who's looking for a solution to people going in and changing screensavers or whatever.
What's the name of it again?
The hardware version is Centurion Guard, and you just install hardware, and what that does is it wipes, it actually reinstalls the system every time it's booted. Okay. Drive Shield is the software version of it.
We've done that. The main campus uses Centurion Guard on our campus.
We use a program called PC Artist. It's kind of the same thing. It re-images the machine every time it shuts down.
Anybody else?
I guess I would say too that money-wise, this has been good because when we were in this budget freeze and we didn't have these positions filled, everybody suffered, and so they were glad to spend the money to hire Tim and to hire 10 more people, and the library budget didn't go down.